Hey traders, Nick here, prepping us for the week. So after one red week, we could be at a critical juncture, but it would be premature to assume it. So for the coming week, we're going to be operating on the following premise. First of all, our base case, what we expect. I expect them to try to do exactly the same thing, which is buy the dip and make a higher high, or at least try to. On the SPX, it's pretty simple. There's no overnight action here. They will try to bounce, and on the way up, 6,300 to 6,340 is where the first real heavy resistance kicks in based on the chart. Below there is support, but none of it is bulletproof because the rally was pretty fast. Nevertheless, I did mark them. So going into 6,100, we have several areas where they could find some support, and around 6060 as well. For the QQQ, the drop seemed a little faster because only a handful of stocks can impact that ETF pretty heavily. And in spite of the great results, they still slid lower. 562 zone is important. But for now, we do have also several areas of support into the 550s and 545. So anything that was in contention on the way up will try to be in contention on the way down. The IWM, the small caps, were already the weakest ones, right? Far away from the all-time high. And they were also the weakest on Friday, scoreboard-wise. Well, they're falling back into a critical level. Well, they haven't lost it yet. That's below 211. Actually, between 211 and like 205, 207. It seems like they can never shake it. And the last time through it, I think they went through it too fast on some headlines. So the market would love a headline to get it out of trouble also. It would need a market-wide rally since it's a basket of 2,000 stocks. For the Dow, I zoomed out. That's a DIA ETF. I am short this, as I mentioned to you, because of a higher time frame chart. And I did survive last week. They were at all-time highs. I think they inched into the all-time high, but they couldn't hold it. So these big green arrows are my trade setup, and they are still in play. So here as well, it's very important for me to look at how they handle this big red box. So how do they come back to the levels from last week if they do? And if they don't, whether they can hold the 426 area, 425 area, the green box below. This brings me to talking about the trades from different perspectives. First of all, the one I get the most questions is the simplest one, the VIX calls. If you held them for protection, they didn't cost you a nickel. Yes, they went red, but one red day in the market and they went back to green. So on Friday, they were worth what they were when you bought them, even if you held them for about a month or so. So if I bought the VIX calls as protection for my portfolio, I leave them. That's where they start doing their jobs. It's like owning insurance for your car. If you start to get into a skid, you don't cancel your car insurance. That's when it kicks in and it's worth its money. So that's one. But if I bought them to short the market, I would treat them like any other short, which brings me to how do bearish portfolio, how are they managed in a situation like this week? Well, I used the drop to fix broken trades. Anything that was really under pressure, I made it so if we bounce back, they are no longer under pressure. Either shrunk them, closed them. And the bullish portfolios should make sure that if the red continues, that the short-term trades that I have are not damaged. The investments, it's too soon to make decisions on because they are longer-term based, and we're not calling a top yet. I like to look at this confusing little chart, and it's basically the white boxes are potential targets. So this says the bulls can go here and the bears can go there. So both sides should be open to these possibilities. Of late, the buy the dip mentality has been super strong, and it's hard to doubt it because it just happens. At some point, they stop doing it. That was what happened in 2021 late, and then we spent 2022 figuring it out. Most people didn't figure it out until late and they lost money. Don't let that happen to you. I am not calling a top, but I am calling the buy the dip mentality to just be as realistic as they need to be in order not to get caught in the top. And as far as catalysts this week, you can tell that we still have plenty of opportunities to fuel another move up or down. So Palantir, Caterpillar, and AMB have been on fire. We have big names with momentum reporting. these are potential catalysts. And we still have some inflation reports coming out this week.